Greetings, opera lovers. Live from Windsor, Connecticut, it's Rona. It's been a long time since I've posted one of these videos, and that's because I hardly go to the opera right now. But this week, the Metropolitan Opera opened their new season, and I was there. Opening night. I've never done that before. I never even thought about it. The reason I thought about it for this year is because for the last many years, I've been watching the career of a fantastic singer named Ekaterina Gubanova. I first heard her singing Brangena on a live stream from the Met, and I thought, oh, this woman can really sing. So over the years, I've tried to get tickets to see her in an opera. Last year, miraculously, I was in Paris, well, she was in Paris as well, and she was performing in an opera called King Roger, by Sessions. Anyway, I listened to some of the music. Oh no, it was by UNESCO. I listened to some of the music. It wasn't for me, so I didn't go hear her in that. But while I was there, I was able to meet her, spend time with her, and just see that she's not only a terrific singer, but a wonderful person. So when I knew she was opening up the season at the Met, I made a special effort to get tickets. Originally, the tickets were very high, but then as time went on, the prices fell to normal. So Mr. Opera and I ventured out and went to New York to see Medea. We got there early and we watched all the people go by in their fantastic clothes. There were gowns, outrageous outfits, costumey looking things, even celebrities. I did happen to catch a glimpse of Sigourney Weaver, who was about 10 feet in front of me, but I was too late in getting out my camera to take a photo. She dashed right into the theater. When we got into the theater, it was even more fun because you could see all the clothes up close, and it was just really fun. So the opera started, and when the lights went down, someone came out on stage and you could hear a groan from the audience. Oh no, one of the stars has canceled. But that wasn't the case. It was just a reminder about masks. So here's my first complaint of the evening. Why didn't Peter Gelb come out, welcome everyone, make his announcement, and get off the stage? Was he too afraid of being booed? I have no idea. Anyway, I felt this was one of many missteps that the Met makes, not just for opening night, but during the year. And I don't know why someone from the Met doesn't call me personally and ask for my opinion so I can solve all their problems, which, believe me, I could. But they're not interested. Okay, on to the evening. After she left, there was the StarSpangled Banner. And of course, I sang very loud so everyone would know that at one time I was a singer. And yes, I think the sentiment was shared. So now the opera starts. Carlo Rizzi, the conductor, comes out and waves his arms. The orchestra starts playing, and I thought, uh-oh, not quite what I had expected. It sounded a little tentative, but that went away quickly. And my impression is that they needed a little more rehearsal time to get this new opera under their belts. Remember, when the Met Orchestra plays something, usually it's something they've played before. Now last year, they opened the season with Fire Shut Up in My Bones, and of course that was new too. And other years there have been newer kind of things. And this should not have been so difficult as it's a piece of music written in the classical style. But it didn't sound quite authentic enough to be something that was in the skin of the musicians. And then, of course, the opera started. And I was a little bit tired. But the curtains parted, and it was a lovely set. It had an interesting mirror in the backdrop that showed what was behind what you could see. It was a very good effect. And the first singer to really make an impression was the soprano Janai Brugger, who sang the role of Glauce. I don't know this opera at all, but that's another story. She sang very well. I'm always so pleased to see that people sing well at the Met. And she was delightful. Again, I think that as the run will go on, she will gain a little more confidence in the role and sing it even better. But it was lovely, and she has a really good voice and a good technique. I heard her years ago in William Tell singing the role of Jemmy, and I thought she was very good then too. So I'm glad to see her career is continuing on in a good path. All the singing was good. The other main principal, besides Miss Radvanovsky, who we'll get to later, was Matthew Polenzani. He is such an outstanding singer. He just sings well all the time, whether it's in an opera like this, or the Pearl Fishers, which I think just really suits him perfectly, or Don Carlo, which I heard him sing last year, which was a surprise. I thought he did very well, in spite of the fact that he doesn't have a voice that is typical of what we hear for Don Carlo. So another very good singer. Then there was also the basso, his name is Michele Pertusi. I know the name, but I never heard him sing before. He was also good. He has a good voice, a good technique, everything. There was one other person who had a small role. His name was Christopher Job. I never heard of him. He also was fine. You notice I haven't mentioned Katerina Gubanova yet. Well, when she came out in the second act, she just really showed that she belonged on equal footing with Miss Radvanovsky, who of course was the star. Out of all the other singers, she held herself the best against Miss Radvanovsky because Sandra Radvanovsky has a very big and piercing voice. I don't mean piercing in a negative way. I mean it cuts through, it fills the auditorium, it fills it equally whether she's singing softly or loudly. It's an amazing thing. So Miss Gubanova, she sang an aria whose name I don't remember. She sang it just beautifully, and the audience responded with a well-deserved ovation for her. I think she's just an exemplar of absolutely excellent singing, whether she's singing Wagner, Cherubini, or Tchaikovsky, which I love her in Tchaikovsky. So there you have it. That's why I went, and she didn't disappoint me. Now we'll go to the star of the evening, Miss Radvanovsky. Well, I've heard her before live. I heard her last in Trovatore. And in that opera, of course, she sang fantastically. But there was something about her singing that, it's not that I didn't like it, but I didn't love it. And that is, I found she had a little bit of a hard edge around some of her notes. And that overall, there was a quality of steel that, it's not that I didn't like it, but it just wasn't my favorite thing. Well, the other night in Medea, I found that that quality was gone. And that instead, there was much more lyrical singing and beautiful tones from her. The role of Medea is a killer, I'm sure. First of all, there are a gazillion notes, and she sang them all fantastically. You know, there's a common thread among opera lovers. They love to criticize, and there's always something to criticize. I've heard all sorts of criticism about the production, about choosing the opera for opening night, and about Miss Radvanovsky, about her chest voice, her middle voice, her high voice. Please, people, did you ever try to sing this music? Do you have any idea what it takes to pull it off? The answer to that is, of course, no. The people who are critical do not know that. I know it because I've tried singing, and I know how hard it is to do a lot of the things that Miss Radvanovsky did. And she was fantastic. She was fierce in her portrayal. And of course, everybody is going to be comparing her to Maria Callas, who made this opera so famous in her revival of it. I think it was during the 1950s. And I believe there are 5 recordings of it. I've never heard any of them. I tried to listen to the opera before we went so I would know what was going on. And I thought it was an okay opera. Some people think it's an excellent opera. Okay, that's all right. I don't think it's anywhere near as good as the standard repertoire that we have. But then again, when I think about an opera like Fidelio from one of my favorite composers, Beethoven, well, that's not such a sterling opera either because of all the recitative and a couple of pieces that I could live without. So this opera is not that far off from Fidelio, even though there's no great music in it. Overall, I enjoyed the evening tremendously. The chorus was terrific as always, and the orchestra is wonderful. I also heard criticisms about the conductor. To me, I thought he tried to make a beautiful and varied evening out of music that could tend to be a little monotonous. At the end of the opera, Miss Radvanovsky took the stage by herself, and she was greeted with a true standing ovation. Everybody got up to cheer her. It was thrilling. And the people all the way upstairs in the highest balcony gave her a shower of confetti. She deserved every little piece of it. So I had a great time. It's one of my favorite nights of the opera. And I hope you enjoyed my little take on it. And I hope to see you again another time on my channel. Have a great day.